Hello, this is Dr. Strength, the pediatrician here in Texas. And the question has been asked, what is a well-child visit? A well-child visit is where we not only look at the child physically, we look at the child nutritionally, and we also look at the child developmentally. And this is where the parent can do a lot of the leading, as in what questions the parent has. So be sure and participate. Bring a list of questions that you want discussed so we can be more pointed and we can make good use of our time together. So what is the benefit of a well child visit? Um, First and foremost is the child physically well? Is there anything out of line that we got to talk about? And that's always actually the main visit of either a well or a sick visit is the child physically well? Number one. Number two, is the child developing according to normal standards? And a lot of this is kind of fun. A lot of parents like to know, is their child ahead of schedule, behind schedule, just average compared to everybody else? And it's kind of fun because we can see where your child is. And most children are, if not on schedule, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule. And so that's always the fun part. But the real important part of a well child visit is to discuss just things that are important to the parent. This is where socially, what questions does the parent have? This is where the parent becomes the driver of the conversation. I want to know what is important to the parent. How often should we see each other for well child visits? There's a set schedule. Every physician knows these schedules. Usually you have a visit right after the baby's born. Some offices say at 1 month old. I prefer 1 week old and then 2 weeks old. 1 week is just to see if you have any questions right off the bat and from getting the baby home. And I kind of review the owner's manual, kind of sort of what it is to bring a baby home. And then after the 1 week visit and the 2 week visit, then we break into 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 15 months, 18 months. Then it goes to 2 years. Once you go to 2 years, it's once a year, every year. Let's discuss what happens during a well child visit. Well, first and foremost, the nurse is going to do all the important measurements. We're going to see how much the baby weighs, how big is the head, how tall they are. And even though once you grow up, we don't do the head measurement, we have to still do the weight and the height measurement to see if you're proportional. Once we do that, then I'll come in and I'll do an exam on the baby. And there's not much baby to do an exam on, so that can be pretty quick. And then we break into, the parent and myself, break into what are the issues at hand? What do we want to discuss developmentally, physically, emotionally? And then the end of every visit usually has to do with vaccinations. And I think that's where we can discuss any questions a parent might have about the vaccinations, the why of the vaccinations, and the what illnesses are covered by these vaccinations. What questions might you bring up during a well child visit? And I think every parent has their own questions, but remember, no question is not important. And so parents might bring up the question of, this is a very common one. My child looks like they're cross-eyed. Is that right? Can you look at them? Is that a problem? Another question that parents always bring up is, my child only has a BM once every 3 days. Is that a problem? Little things like that are important, especially to grandparents. My child looks flat-footed. What about that? Other questions is, my child is a very picky eater. What do I do about that? How do you balance good nutrition and not being overweight? How do you balance, are vitamins important? Are they not important? These are common issues that parents bring up. And so it doesn't have to all revolve around we're just here for vaccinations. What else concerns you about the child? If you don't know if your child's due for a well child visit, call your pediatrician's offices. The pediatrician's offices know the schedules way better than I do sometimes. So if you don't know, call them. They'll be happy to help you arrange for a well child visit.